Hello everyone and welcome to Catchpoint's latest OpsCast Spotlight hosted in partnership with eBags. My name is Craig Lowell and I'll be your moderator for this webinar. Our presentation today will cover both the importance of digital experience monitoring, how Catchpoint can help you achieve your performance and brand goals, and how eBags, one of the world's most respected online retailers, has deployed the Catchpoint solution to help them achieve their own goals. Your presenters will be David Snyder, Principal Performance Engineer at Catchpoint Systems, Mike Frazzini, Chief Technology Officer at eBags, Darren Patterson, eBags Director of Technical Operations, and Al Ilgis, Software Architect at eBags. Our eBags guests will delve into how and why they decided to make the switch to Catchpoint for their digital experience monitoring, as well as some of the results that they've seen since making that switch. But before we get to that, David will go over just why performance plays such a crucial role for online businesses. So David, take it away.
Thank you, Craig. One of the most important things to understand about performance is the mindset of today's online consumer. With so many different websites available, particularly in the e-commerce industry, the importance of delivering an amazing digital experience is more important than ever. The average consumer nowadays is extremely impatient. If they have to wait more than a few seconds for a page to load enough for them to interact with it, they will likely leave and take their business to one of your competitors. And by the way, this is true for more than just e-commerce sites, but e-commerce is held to a higher standard than other industries due to the prevalence of competition out there and the direct impact that each abandoned transaction has on revenue. The other important aspect to keep in mind is not only the growth of mobile browsing, but also the challenges that it presents. The vast majority of customers expect mobile sites to load just as quickly as desktop sites, but meeting those expectations is much more difficult due to the variables such as different types of mobile devices, browsers, and the bandwidth limitations of mobile networks. This means that optimization techniques, which we'll get into in a bit, are even more important for your mobile site, and failing to account for these different variables can have a huge impact on your business's bottom line. Catchpoint's one focus is digital experience monitoring. We decided not to cover end-to-end APM because our founders, who are experienced IT operations experts themselves, saw a critical and growing need to build the best DEM platform to help businesses differentiate themselves through their digital experience. We are headquartered in New York with 6 offices around the world to support global business. Catchpoint has over 350 customers, including many of the world's top brands. Many are recognized as customer experience leaders such as Google, Honeywell, LinkedIn, and Priceline, who are committed to delivering amazing experiences. For example, David Cody, CEO of Honeywell, says his company wants to become the Apple of the industrial sector. And LinkedIn won the gold standard in Gartner's 2015 Customer Experience Excellence Awards. We have the most test types, 15 to be exact, to let you capture more comprehensive data to actively manage your website, systems and applications, network, and third-party providers. Our analytics engine is specifically designed to tackle the enormous and growing complexity in DEM to give you the best analytics and atomic-level insight in real time. We have the largest network of more than 560 vantage points to best emulate your customers globally, including the geolocations and their networks. Catchpoint offers one product, a complete digital experience monitoring platform, which is made up of synthetic and real user monitoring modules. Catchpoint Synthetic, which includes our on-prem nodes, provides proactive monitoring, allowing you to preempt issues before customers are impacted. Catchpoint Synthetic lets you monitor performance from where your customers actually are, by geolocations and ISPs. Catchpoint On-Prem gives you visibility into the performance of applications that are behind a firewall using a physical or virtual agent. This could include insight into the performance of applications in call centers, branches, data centers, etc. Catchpoint Rum, on the other hand, provides real user measurement and complements proactive monitoring. It gives you an in-depth view into how your performance impacts user activity so you can optimize your user experience and drive business KPIs. All data from these three products can be viewed, sliced and diced, and analyzed in the same UI, giving you a complete 360-degree view of the customer's true experience. Unlike traditional monitoring tools, Catchpoint's multi-tenant 100% SaaS platform doesn't require software installation, so you can quickly start using the solution and not ever worry about maintenance or updates. Our focus is to be the best DEM tool on the market. We easily integrate with many tools such as Slack and PagerDuty, as well as sharing or pushing data to APM tools. At Catchpoint, we believe that the only way to get a complete view into the end user experience is by using real user measurement and synthetic monitoring hand in hand with one another. Either method on its own will provide valuable information, but it will inevitably leave gaps into your view of what your customers are experiencing. Synthetic monitoring is all about taking a proactive approach to ensure that your site is working as it's supposed to. It simulates a clean lab environment on a fixed schedule, which means that you can create a controlled baseline for performance. That allows you to set alerts to let you diagnose and troubleshoot issues before they impact your customers. However, synthetic monitoring doesn't account for real-world issues, such as the network bandwidth challenge that we mentioned earlier. So it doesn't show you exactly what your customers are experiencing. On the other side, real user measurement fills in those gaps with JavaScript elements directly on the pages that your customers are visiting, which collect data of the page's performance exactly as the customer experienced it. In this sense, RUM is great for learning about user behavior, such as the time and location from which they're visiting the site and the device that they're actually using. But because you're getting this data after the user experiences it, it's not as helpful at preempting problems before they have an impact. Here we've put together a simple checklist for some of the best practices that web developers can employ to maximize their page speed score. All of these are equally important. However, the top three strategies here can be summed up with three words: less is more. The lighter your site, the fewer bytes that the user's browser has to download, and the less time it will take. When it comes to reducing third-party presence, it's extremely rare for a site to be able to eliminate third parties and impossible for an e-commerce site like eBags. That being said, getting the number as low as possible will mean that the page has fewer elements outside of your control and therefore will reduce the risk of performance problems. For third parties that you do have, such as social sharing buttons or advertisements, you want to load them asynchronously so that if, for some example, Facebook goes down, it will not affect the loading of the other elements on the page.
All right, thank you very much, David. So now we're going to turn things over to Mike Frazzini at eBags.
All right. Thank you, Craig and David. And for those of you who aren't familiar with eBags, I want to just do a quick overview and familiarize you with our site. We're the #1 online bag retailer since 1999. Just last week, we delivered our 27 millionth bag, which we're very proud of. We've got over 3.8 million independent ratings and reviews on everything related to travel. We believe we're the biggest resource in the world when it comes to travel, accessories, luggage, and everything you would expect to take on your adventures and journeys. We've got over 900 brands in our category, and our own brand, the eBags brand, is one of our top brands, highly rated and growing fast. And I want to take you through our current strategic focus in technology and across our enterprise, and it really centers around mobile. As mobile web interaction and traffic is growing 70% year over year for us. So our vision really is to be the world's most travel goods expert, dedicated to enhancing all life's journeys and adventures. And as part of that, our mission is really to have the best selection, experience, and expertise. And as part of that experience, it needs to be mobile friendly and highly performant, and that's where we're leveraging Catchpoint, and I'll talk a little bit more about that shortly. to give you a little more detail on our mobile strategy, it's really three-pronged. And of course, being an e-commerce website, our first focus is on our mobile web. And we've been working on this for the last several years, making sure it's highly responsive and adaptive for all the different device types, and really removing the friction out of the mobile web experience. And a huge part of that is performance. And then second, we are focused on our app, which we just launched at the beginning of this year. We see our mobile app as a platform for travel-related services, and really optimizing the traveler journey in a way that takes advantage of the capabilities of the smartphone that we can't do with the mobile web. And then third, which we're really excited about, which just launched this summer, is our mobile-first connected tag. So we've got, and you can find these on our site, but we've got these great different designed luggage ID tags with the ability to, through the use of the mobile app, allow you to put in your contact information, change it at any point, control the privacy, and receive active messages if your bag is lost and or someone finds it. So very excited about all these initiatives, but what they all have in common is mobile. And the growth of mobile has been tremendous, and we're really seeing that take off this year. We expect in Q4 mobile traffic to eclipse 50% of share of all of our traffic. And you can see by this chart how it's grown and what the share has been over the years. So lots of growth there, and certainly into 2017 we expect the mobile traffic to far exceed all other desktop and tablet traffic. And that also includes our growing app and all of the infrastructure we've built out to support the app. But it's critical that the mobile site and the app infrastructure be highly performant. We've always used the benchmark that essentially every 1 second can have a 10% conversion impact. So performance is really important, and we've used performance monitoring since our inception, since 1999. And within the last couple of years, we did a very thorough competitive assessment of the landscape and chose to switch to Catchpoint. And some of the reasons we did that was really the capabilities that Catchpoint has for true mobile monitoring, given that it's such an important part of our strategy. That was key. Other reasons we decided to switch to Catchpoint include the usability. It's very intuitive, it's highly responsive and innovative to use. We love the features that it offers with all the different monitors. Beyond just web and transaction, we can do DNS and trace route and all sorts of drilling down. You can even get to some very technical pieces where you can look at request and response headers, which we had never been able to do. Some of the things that we'll talk about further around third-party monitoring were really important as well. You mentioned, David, some of the reporting capabilities, and we're very impressed with those, especially the ease of publishing them to third parties, and actually along with that, the access controls that are available. We've even got some trusted third parties where we are able to provision them and provide them a read-only access, and they're constantly monitoring their portions of our site through Catchpoint. So that's a great feature, as well as the ease of extending this information and sharing it in a controlled way. And then one other piece that I'll talk about is we've done a lot internally to automate testing, and we've used Selenium extensively as part of that effort. And one of the things that really attracted us to Catchpoint is the ability to leverage a lot of that automated testing script in the monitor. So we've got transaction monitors that leverage our Selenium testing scripts that we're able to use elsewhere. And then I will actually add too that in conclusion, as we're growing our mobile and especially our mobile app API infrastructure, we're really starting to leverage the cloud a lot more. And we found that using Catchpoint, it's very easy to monitor the cloud, and some of the features around creating different host entries for your monitors, or even using CNAMEs for monitors, really helps us set up and manage our monitoring across the cloud. And with that, I will turn it over to Al Ilgis, who is one of our software architects, and he's going to talk a little bit about his efforts around our performance and scalability task force that he leads, and how we leverage Catchpoint with that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mike. Over time, eBags has come to rely on many strategic partnerships. As we add functionality to our website, we will make many decisions on the best approach to integrate new features, and if we should form strategic partnerships with third parties. E-commerce is a fast-paced industry, and time to market is critical for our business to meet its goals. Many times we'll have to make a determination whether it's best to build versus buy, and as we're analyzing build versus buy, we'll look at the level of effort. How quickly are third parties innovating? Can we innovate as quickly as this third party? How do we need to scale up our resources here locally? How much time would it take to gain the knowledge in a very specific industry that we may not have that a third party could provide? eBags will continue to support and add new strategic partnerships for business agility and intelligence. All right, so since we're going to support these third parties, it actually creates a challenge for our IT team. Since it only takes one third party to degrade the customer experience on our website, this is a potential problem that we need to monitor, and we use Catchpoint for. Some errors that we've seen are JavaScript errors. We've seen unoptimized code, global scoped variable conflicts. We've seen third parties loading other third parties on our site. And we've also seen like mini versions of jQuery from the third party. So we could have like 4 versions of jQuery running in our site that's being brought in. We've seen other issues of uncompressed files, browser caching issues, potentially hacked third parties, and many more. So nobody wants to see, your page not found or some HTTP status code as you see here, and we struggle to make sure that our site is up all the time. So how many third parties does eBags support? Well, this is constantly changing. We support as many third parties as the business needs and will allow our site to perform. We're constantly split testing third parties, so that means you may not get the same experience every time that you visit our site, and you may get a third party or not. And we utilize a significant number of domains from third parties. Just over to the right, we have an image that kind of gives you an idea of maybe all the different types of domains that might be coming through. Now, this isn't all third parties. This might be CDNs or other things that we utilize too. But trying to actually track third parties and potential performance problems would be impossible as a manual task. So we rely on Catchpoint to have automated tracking and to actually monitor our performance. So they went through the RUM and the static tracking, and this is constantly running. We have it running throughout many different areas within the United States. So this allows us to take control of the third parties and if there's a problem and quickly resolve that problem. So there are a couple things that we're looking forward to from Catchpoint. One is comparison to competitor sites. At eBags, we strive to be a very performant, as Mike was saying, mobile-first website, and that's where we see the industry going. But we like to know how we rank against our competitors. We want to know if they're pulling ahead or we're ahead, and this is a very key feature that we're looking forward to start using here soon. And really, anything that helps us detect and quickly resolve issues and anomalies that a third party might cause eBags. With that, I'd like to hand it over to Darren Patterson, who will show you how the IT operations teams helps to track this.
Thanks, Al. Well, I'm going to walk you through just a couple of the charts and the information that we regularly look at in the IT ops team as we collaborate with development. The first chart here that I brought up just was one where I highlighted a DNS response out of Honolulu. And we work closely in IT ops to make sure that customer support is aware of any internet or site-related issues that affect particular parts of the country or particular areas. And in this case, you can see this DNS response took a very long time to return, 6 seconds plus. If that were to continue, we would, in the IT ops team, be able to try and highlight that people in a particular part of the country would be affected by some sort of an issue, so that our customer success team can be aware and be proactive in their response. Those type of alerts as well we would get notified of after some period of time of a threshold through our alert aggregation tool, which is a great feature that we have integrated with through Catchpoint to be able to get IT ops related performance alerts in a common area, in a common way with the rest of our other tools. Now this chart actually shows a real issue we had some time ago where we were troubleshooting behavior on the Chrome web browser, and a third party, at the time we didn't know what was causing the issue, but anytime you see a performance chart like this where response time is on one axis, you'll see, up and to the right is not a good thing to see. We saw this quick spike and significant performance impact, and we were able to drill down here to find that. On the left side it says home page, and that's through our content distribution network. And we went to a CDN problem or some other third party. And on the right-hand side, you'll see that chart that it says the origin. It's bypassing our CDN. And the charts look very similar, although there's a slight downtick on the origin chart. By this, we were able to say that it was not necessarily related to our content distribution network. If we'd seen no correlation between these two, we would have quickly gotten a hold of our content distribution network and investigated with them. Another feature that we take advantage of significantly in Catchpoint is zones. We'd love to have a lot more zones because we have so many third parties, but we create zones in ways that will at least help us isolate by type, if not individually, a third party that might be misbehaving. In this graph, this is over the same time period as the previous one, and you'll see that the blue line for ad networks is spiking up significantly around the same time frame as we were seeing in the previous. So we use this data to try and correlate and isolate for what third parties might be causing some problems on the site. This, in particular, breakdown of zones is actually visible. We have it up on a TV dashboard that our IT ops, just above our IT ops team, and the IT in particular pays close attention. They look at these charts as they rotate through to see how the site is performing, to see how third parties are performing, and to pay attention to try and catch any issues before they become critical. And as I mentioned before, we do have alerting set up on thresholds for these, but we were able to use like this zone breakdown to try and isolate and then finally find a root cause for the issues that we had with a third party that were breaking some other a third-party load. And that's just kind of one example of how we use Catchpoint out of IT ops, and it's a very valuable tool for us to help isolate against the large number of third parties and our content distribution network versus having an origin problem and serving the site. Now I'm going to turn it back over again and let Craig summarize.
All right, thank you so much, Darren. So before we go, I'd like to just pose a few follow-up questions to some of our panelists, particularly the guys over at eBags. Starting with Mike, did you experience any challenges when making the switch to Catchpoint from your old performance solution?
Yeah, so we found that the migration from our other provider to Catchpoint was really very smooth, as you might imagine. You know, the two, I wouldn't call them challenges, it was more of an opportunity, but the two things that we really focused on was the power of the platform. There's a lot there with the reporting and all the capabilities and features that we've discussed. So the onboarding and training was really crucial, but I would say that Catchpoint helped us through that, several different sessions. And our team, you know, did find a lot of it to be very intuitive. but with the power, having that training was very helpful, and the teams, the Catchpoint team's always been supportive as we've had questions, particularly around some of the advanced usage or reporting questions that we have. And then I guess the only other thing that was a little different was just the costing model and the points, and understand what the OpEx spend is, and with relation to our budget with the different monitors. But the Catchpoint pointing system, I think, is great, and it allows us a lot of flexibility at various times of the year, like this time of the year as we're preparing for our big holiday season. Because everybody loves bags and travel accessories over the holidays, not to mention for their holiday travel. But preparing for this time of year, we do a lot of external load testing. We are doing a lot of changes to we're actually setting up a number of extra monitors this time of year to validate all of that and control it. And having that flexibility with the pointing system, with the cost, has been great. And I will add too that it's fairly easy to figure out every time we set up a monitor. There's that helps us understand the pricing there.
Okay, great. And I guess this last question would be for Darren as the Director of Technical Ops, but what would you say are the biggest positives that you've seen in terms of your performance since making the switch over to Catchpoint?
It's been really easy for us to help isolate for and solve for individual malfunctioning components, as well as to compare against performance in different data centers. We have a primary and secondary data center, and we're bringing up cloud resources as well. So the combination of being able to run the same thing across these different environments gives us an apples-to-apples comparison, and lets our IT ops team collaborate very well with development and say, we can see very specifically this thing in this environment, and it's impacting the site in this way. So from that perspective, we consider it a very valuable tool in our tool chest for isolating for problems and maintaining excellent site performance.
All right, thank you so much. And that's going to do it for us. So I'd like to once again thank David, Mike, Darren, and Al for all joining us today and sharing your insights. So thank you so much to you listeners for joining as well, and enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.